South Africa, now to Rwanda and the Africa CEO Forum. The World Bank's International Finance Corporation signed 9 investment deals during the event in Kigali, valued at around $945 million. Let's bring in Bloomberg's Ondiro Oganga, who is in Kigali for us. So, Ondiro, how did the Africa agenda feature at this year's Africa CEO Forum?
Joumanna, the opening ceremony was mainly discussing the strides that Africa has made. Take technology, for example. Rwanda is one of the first African countries that is producing the mRNA vaccine. And by that, it has put Africa on the global map in vaccine production. They're also investing in genomics, where they'll be able to produce treatment tailor-made to Africa's healthcare needs. Education was also part of the conversation because there's need to invest in STEM because these are the courses that are driving technology-backed development and also access to talent across the continent. So free movement of these people so that businesses can have the right skill set. However, there are challenges on the continent. 600 million people do not have access to electricity, and this hampers basic economic development. But there are challenges when you want to invest, as was explained by IFC Vice President Mark Tardio.
And let me just ask you, were there any other themes that also came up in the CEO Forum? What stood out to you?
Well, the closing ceremony, Joumanna, it was a bare-knuckle session by businessmen, laying it bare on the table, as is one of the issues was connectivity. Africa's richest man, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, saying he still needs 35 visas to be able to travel across the continent, and they're still asking for bank statements as opposed to his fellow panelist, who is the CEO of Total Energies, a Frenchman holding a French passport that did not need as much visas. Another issue that actually came up was also taxes, and this was not just a West African issue. Even East African manufacturers are talking about it, and then stable tax policy that we're seeing across the continent, with Alhaji Dangote saying that for every single naira that he turns around, 52% actually goes to government. There are also conversations about the infrastructure needed in Africa, with MTN CEO saying that there need to be $100 billion invested in digital infrastructure to ensure that every African has access to broadband. And this brings into conversation the subject of financing, where Africa needs its own financing infrastructure that will ensure that it reflects the needs and priorities of the continent.